What's up, everybody? J-Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Football, basketball, and boxing. Let's get to it. So I want to talk a little bit about the injury to Tyrese Haliburton in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Everybody was obviously heartbroken or felt some type of way, you felt bad for Tyrese for what happened. Whether you were in the arena or watching it on TV, nothing you want to see, especially the star player for a team, go down in Game 7. You know, truthfully, because of what happened, hats off and kudos to the Oklahoma City Thunder because they won the series. But Pacers fans have a reason to feel like, could we have really won that game? Now, injuries are part of the game. It happens, and you got to play through them. So again, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the champions, and if they won, Shea was going to be the MVP. We knew that. But Tyrese usually has a 30-point game each series in the playoffs. That was the trend. And he hadn't had his 30 points yet against Oklahoma City, and it looks like he was off to a good start in the game. So we have reason to believe he was going to be, it might have been his 30-point game, which might have factored in. And his big and clutch moments was all playoffs. So he could have made a difference. We can honestly say that that's the case. That being said, who knows? They might have still lost. But the injury is what's important. I saw a post by Victor Oladipo saying how, you know, people are just focused on the game and kind of brushing off what happened to Tyrese. You know, he's going to be all right. He's going to bounce back. You know, he wanted to be competitive and play and leave it all out there on the floor, and kind of really praising his heart and just kind of brushing aside like, okay, well, he got hurt. That really sucks, but that's part of the game. And Victor Oladipo seemed like he was being sarcastic because he talked about how he was going to make it his mission to shine a light on the real problem and how it's not on Tyrese, and how the NBA needs to do more about this. I've heard other people say these injuries, there's more to them than just these guys going down. Maybe it's the Olympics, how guys are playing year-round. They play more games, the pace of the game. I saw someone commenting that they put about 200 miles of running more on their bodies now in today's NBA than they did back in the 80s and 90s because of how the pace of play has increased. And that's across the board. Like, whether you're a starter or you're on the bench, your minutes are up. So, or you're not your minutes, but not your minutes, but the amount of movement in those minutes are up. So that causes stress on the body. So there's all these things. I don't know the real factor as to why, but what I notice and what I want to point to is, one, Tyrese, if you're a competitor, he had no choice. He had to go out there and play. I can't imagine being in a Game 7 for the NBA Finals and truly wanting to compete. And if I can get out there and play, even if I'm hobbled, I'm out there. So when he had that calf injury, that wasn't going to stop him. I remember once playing in a game that wasn't as serious as what they were playing for in the NBA Finals, and I had an injury to my mouth where my tooth was essentially falling out loose. And my fiance at the time wanted me to stop the game, and I wanted to keep playing. And, you know, she had to talk to me about it because I was really seriously not even giving it a second thought that I was going to go out there and play. You know, I'd play and money wasn't even on the line, and I would have played in a competitive, serious basketball game that I felt meant something to me and my teammates. I'd be out there with a bone broken if I could play with that broken bone. So I know guys at that level that's put so much blood, sweat, and tears and their heart and their lives into it. You get to that apex moment in your career, an injury that you can play through, you're playing. That being said, if you're going to help the players, I'm not sure it's the Olympic Games or the pace of play so much as it is the competitive nature of the player. Truthfully, I think you have to have somebody on the team that can trump the player, and the teams have to think about the interests of the players over having them out there to win the game or to sell tickets. Because what I have noticed with Kevin Durant, Tyrese Haliburton, and other people, that calf injury, you get a calf injury, your Achilles is next. I know a friend that had a calf injury, his Achilles was next. You get that calf injury, you need to let it heal. Not to say it's 100% you're going to blow out your Achilles because your calf is hurt. But there's a good chance. And it's nothing to look past. And that Achilles puts you out for a long time. Longer than if you just rest with that calf strain and let it heal. So, I mean, I think that's something to think about. When you get this calf injury, the team doctor or somebody on the team, if you really don't want this player to have an injury, they have to say something. Because truly, not to say a player wouldn't, there's some players that their passion isn't quite where I'm talking about mine's is, or other people's may be, their competitiveness. Some people play professional sports because they just have a talent and they're good and they can get paid millions of dollars to do it. And that's in all sports. Everybody don't truly love the game like some people who aren't even getting paid to play certain sports. They just have a gift. And why not make millions if you can? But for somebody who has that passion and that fire burning in them, they need somebody else to help stop them from hurting themselves. Regardless, interesting to see what they find if the NBA looks more into this. What are y'all's thoughts on the rise in injuries with Tatum and Dame Lillard and, Haliburton? What is there a pattern you see? And is there anything that can really be done about it? All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you're looking for. J Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or get at me in the comments. Find me on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok.